Hello everyone, let's talk borrowing. The borrowing tactic that I'm covering in this video is a core component of several DeFi strategies to maximize your returns. So I want to cover this specifically in a quick video so that you can easily re-reference this tactic. In future videos, I'm going to talk about specific ways to generate a lot of profit, and this will be a common optional tactic that you can use. Make sure that you subscribe so that you know when I post about those profit generating strategies. And right now, let's get into it. We're going to cover this example on Avalanche ecosystem by going to TraderJoeXYZ.com. I'll throw a link into the description and you're going to click on the Lend tab at the top right here. In the Lend portion of the screen, you'll see lending on the left, and then you'll also see borrowing on the right. In a separate Lend video, we discussed how to lend your AVAX and collateralize it. Today, we're going to talk about a borrowing tactic with DeFi. You can see here that right now, if you want to borrow AVAX, we will on average have to pay minus 5.46 APY fee that gets paid back to the lenders, with the most expensive borrow option being these stablecoins, MIM and USDC. And what's really cool is that we collateralized our AVAX in the last video. So we deposited and then allowed this to be collateral for borrowing. But we can borrow against this $3,700 amount using any token on the borrow list, not just AVAX. For example, if you open MIM, you're going to see that we can borrow MIM, and we can borrow up to 75%, and our borrow limit goes up to 90%. So we can borrow right now $2,500 from Trader Joe that we do not own. And what's really cool is Trader Joe is a decentralized platform, so we're borrowing directly from other people, not just Trader Joe. Trader Joe is the intermediary platform that just has automatic protocols that handle the rewards. But let's get into the tactic by starting with AVAX. So as you can see here, our AVAX borrow limit is 38.25. This is off of the 51 AVAX that we lent. And I'm just going to show this real quick. This will be important later. You can see 51 is what we have. We have a 27.51 borrow limit based on the total dollar value per AVAX. So let's go in here, and this is a really simple trick. Borrow limit is 38.25. Let's go ahead and borrow 34.42 AVAX. We're going to max it out. We can only have 90% of this borrow limit within a single token. So in AVAX, we can only borrow this much. Let's go ahead and borrow this. We're going to have to accept everything on here. We have a contract that we accept, and it's pending. And this will be quick because it's through the Avalanche ecosystem. And now we have that amount borrowed. So if we click into here, we can see that we've used 90% of our borrow limit with the AVAX, and our new borrow limit is only 3.8 because we already took out so much. We borrowed 34.42. And so we can see what our borrowing APY is. Now let's go into Lend. And here's a warning here that lets you know that you are at risk by borrowing because you don't own that AVAX we just borrowed. We have to pay it back. But here's the quick tactic. We go into here and let's go ahead and max out the amount of AVAX. And again, remember how much we just borrowed. We don't own most of this. We just borrowed 34 AVAX. So let's go ahead and change this to 34 AVAX. And we're going to deposit that AVAX into the lending protocol. Now that the transaction is finished, you can see that our brand new balance is 85 AVAX that we have lent, and you and I know that 34 of this we borrowed from AVAX. And here's where the tactic comes in. We're going to go back into AVAX that we borrowed from and look at our new borrow limit. It has completely changed. And I want to point out something here. The important thing is now that we can go ahead and withdraw more AVAX than we did before. So we lent 51 AVAX, and if we take this out right now, we're going to be able to get 15 more AVAX. So we borrowed 34, and then now we're borrowing another 15, so we'll be borrowing 50. And our total AVAX that we'll have in our control is 100 AVAX by doing this strategy, by continuously borrowing and relending. Now, this is not effectively a good strategy if you're doing this just to do this tactic, But where this tactic gets really interesting is when you combine this with other tokens and other strategies, you can maximize the amount of cryptocurrency you take out of a decentralized exchange to use it in higher yielding protocols. This leads to a lot of arbitrage opportunity that you wouldn't get on a single platform and by owning your own money. This borrows other money that you're going to have to pay back, so you have to remember that. It has to go back, but if you can get a quick turnaround and arbitrage opportunity to get an extra 5%, 10%, do that 10 times, and you're going to double your money that you own or double the money that you didn't own. So this is going to lead to some really awesome videos. Make sure that you subscribe to this YouTube channel so you can see when I post them. And another important thing here is to look at this borrow limit used. If we try to borrow 90% right now, we're not going to be able to. Our borrow limit changes. So you saw that we're able to get more borrowed even though we relent all of that. Trader Joe knows that this is going to happen and accounts for that by saying you can only take out so much. And we can continue that cycle. So we can take this out, we can relend it, and then we can go borrow more. And we continuously increase by doing this our total AVAX that we own. And now, own is a loose word here. Remember that we have to pay this back. But again, this is a very simple tactic that we're going to talk about more in the future. And for now, I really hope that you guys appreciated this video. I know I enjoyed the time. Please, again, like the video, subscribe if it brought you value. Save this video because we're going to use it a lot later. Watch it again because you want to make sure this tactic is nailed down. Give it a try yourself. And until next time, peace out, guppies.